Hello everyone, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we'll discover how far Tieu Lac is willing to push herself to protect her unborn child, and whether Quan will uncover the hidden truth behind her sudden departure. If you enjoy the story, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next episode. After the long night inside the abandoned house, Tieu Lac opened her eyes to a room that still felt cold, dark, and unfamiliar. For a few seconds, she did not move. The old cloth around her shoulders had slipped during the night. Her back ached from sleeping on the hard floor, and the air inside the house smelled of dust and damp wood. Through a crack in the damaged roof, a thin line of morning light reached the ground. Tieu Lac slowly placed one hand over her stomach. "You're still here with me," she whispered. The baby did not move immediately, but simply feeling the warmth beneath her palm was enough to steady her breathing. The night before, she had promised they only needed to survive until morning. Morning had come. Now she needed another plan. Tieu Lac looked around the abandoned room. There was almost nothing there. A small amount of water remained in the old container. Only a few crumbs were left from the bread she had eaten. The wooden board still covered part of the broken window, but the wind entered through the other cracks. This place could protect them from being seen, but it could not give them a real life. She could not remain there and wait for something to change. No one knew she was inside the house. No one would bring food. No one would offer work unless she went out and asked. Tieu Lac sat up carefully and took a long breath. "From today," she said softly, "Mom will work." Her voice was weak, but the decision behind it was not. "I'll earn money for both of us. It may not be much at first, but I'll save everything I can." She gently rubbed her stomach. "We have a long road ahead, but we'll walk it together." For the first time since leaving the farm, Tieu Lac did not allow herself to think about Quan. She knew that if she remembered his face, his voice, or the way he had always tried to protect her, her determination might weaken. So she pushed those thoughts away. Right now, she could not worry about whether Quan was angry, disappointed, or still waiting for her. She could only think about the baby. The child had no choice in any of this. The baby had not chosen the abandoned house, the hunger, or the uncertain future. That responsibility belonged to her. Tieu Lac stood slowly and gathered the few things she still had. She folded the old cloth, checked the remaining water, and placed the coins in her pocket. There were not many. Still, they were all she had. Before leaving, she looked back at the cold room. "This isn't our home," she whispered. "It's only where we're staying for now." Then she stepped outside. The morning air was cool and the road was quiet. Tieu Lac followed the path toward the fields where temporary workers sometimes gathered before the sun became too strong. She did not know whether anyone would hire her. She did not know how long her body could continue working, but uncertainty was no longer enough to stop her. By the time she reached the first field, several people had already begun harvesting vegetables. Some carried baskets. Others bent over long rows of plants, working quickly before the heat increased. Tieu Lac approached the person supervising the workers. "Do you need another person today?" she asked. The supervisor looked at her, then glanced at her stomach. "The work is difficult. I can do it. You'll have to carry baskets." "I'll be careful." The supervisor hesitated. Tieu Lac could see doubt in the person's face. She had seen that same expression many times before. People looked at her and saw weakness before they saw effort. "I don't need special treatment," she said. "You can pay me for what I finish." After another moment, the supervisor pointed toward an empty row. "Start there." Relief passed through Tieu Lac so quickly that she almost cried. Instead, she bowed her head. "Thank you." She picked up a basket and began working. At first, the movements felt manageable. She reached down, gathered the vegetables, and placed them carefully inside the basket. She tried to keep a steady rhythm, following the workers around her. But her body was not the same as it had been before. Her belly had grown heavier. Each time she bent down, pressure pulled through her lower back. Standing again required more effort than she expected. Still, she kept going. One vegetable, then another, one basket, then the beginning of the next. Tieu Lac told herself not to look too far ahead. She did not need to finish the entire field at once. She only needed to complete the task directly in front of her. After some time, the baby moved. Tieu Lac immediately stopped and placed a hand over her stomach. The movement was small but clear. "Are you tired too?" she whispered. She waited for the discomfort to pass. A worker nearby glanced at her. "Are you all right?" "Yes," Tieu Lac answered quickly. "I just need a moment." The worker returned to the harvest. Tieu Lac remained still, breathing slowly. Part of her knew she should rest longer. Another part looked at the unfinished basket and remembered the abandoned house. If she stopped working, she would earn less. If she earned less, there would be less food. That thought pushed her back into motion. She continued, but more carefully this time. Every basket she filled became a calculation in her mind. A little money for food, a little for water, a little saved for the next day. Perhaps after enough days, she could afford a small room. Not a beautiful room, not a large one, just somewhere dry, somewhere with a door that locked, somewhere her child would not begin life beneath a leaking roof. The dream was simple, but to Tieu Lac it felt far away. Around midday, the sunlight became stronger. Sweat gathered along her forehead, and her breathing grew heavier. She wanted to sit down. She wanted to close her eyes. But whenever the thought of stopping appeared, another image followed. A child wearing clean clothes. A child carrying books to school. A child sitting at a table with enough food. Tieu Lac did not know whether she could give her baby any of those things, but she wanted to try. That desire was stronger than the pain in her back and the exhaustion in her legs. While Tieu Lac continued working, far away at the farm, Quan stood near the road with Milou beside him. He had barely slept. The shopping bag he had prepared for Tieu Lac remained inside the house, unopened and untouched. Quan looked down at Milou. "Stay here," he said. "Look after the house." Milou watched him quietly. Quan crouched and touched the dog's head. "We'll find her." He wanted to believe those words, but after searching the market and following every uncertain direction, he still had no clear answer. Tieu Lac had disappeared as if she had planned to erase every trace. Quan stood again and looked toward the roads leading away from the farm. He would search the fields next, then the gardens, then every place where temporary workers might gather. He would not stop simply because the first clues had failed. Somewhere, Tieu Lac was trying to survive without him, and somewhere inside that painful truth, Quan believed there had to be a reason she had never told him. Quan left the farm shortly after sunrise. Milou remained near the doorway, watching until he disappeared down the road. Quan first went to the gardens closest to the village. Tieu Lac had worked in places like these before. If she needed money quickly, she would choose work that paid by the basket or by the day. He entered a cucumber garden and looked across the rows. The plants were still young. The fruit was not ready to harvest. Tieu Lac would not be there. Quan continued toward a bitter gourd garden farther down the road. The vines looked dry and neglected. No workers were present. Again, there was no sign of her. He kept moving. Each new place gave him hope for a few seconds. Each empty garden took that hope away. Quan asked everyone he met, "Have you seen this woman?" He showed Tieu Lac's photograph to farmers, workers, and people carrying vegetables toward the market. Some shook their heads immediately. Others looked longer, trying to remember. A woman near a bean garden studied the picture carefully. "She looks familiar," the woman said. Quan stepped closer. "Did she work here?" "I'm not sure. Many people come looking for work." "Was she here today?" The woman looked toward the rows. "I haven't seen her." Quan thanked her and continued searching. The bean garden was ready for harvest. Workers moved between the rows, filling baskets and carrying them toward a shaded area. For a moment, Quan imagined Tieu Lac among them. He pictured her bending down, forcing herself to work despite exhaustion, refusing to ask anyone for help. The thought made his chest tighten. He walked through the garden carefully, checking every worker. She was not there. While Quan searched, Tieu Lac was still working in another field. The sun stood high above her now. Her first basket had already been taken away, and she was trying to fill another. Her movements were slower, but she refused to stop completely. The supervisor passed nearby and looked at the vegetable she had collected. "You work carefully," the supervisor said. Tieu Lac straightened slowly. "I'll try to finish more. Don't make yourself sick." Tieu Lac gave a small nod. She appreciated the warning, but warnings could not buy food. She returned to the harvest. Each time she placed another vegetable into the basket, she thought about the small amount of money it might become. That money would not change everything, but it could buy rice, it could buy bread, it could help her save for a room. Tieu Lac no longer allowed herself to dream about comfort. Comfort felt too distant. She only wanted safety. A dry place to sleep, a door she could close, enough food so the baby would not suffer. Those were not large dreams, yet even they seemed difficult to reach. By late afternoon, her back hurt so badly that she had to sit beside the field. She placed both hands over her stomach. "I know," she whispered. "Mom is tired too." The baby moved gently. Tieu Lac smiled despite the pain. She thought about the future again. One day, the child might ask why they had lived this way. She wanted to say that she had tried everything. She wanted to say the poverty had surrounded them, but she had never allowed it to take away her love. She imagined her child going to school, holding books instead of carrying harvest baskets. She imagined a table with warm food. She imagined a home where rain did not enter through the roof. The images were simple, but they gave her enough strength to stand again. When the work ended, the supervisor counted what each worker had completed. Tieu Lac waited quietly. The money placed into her hand was small. Still, she stared at it for a long moment. This was the first money she had earned since deciding that she and the baby would survive on their own. "It isn't much," she whispered to the child, "but it's ours." She folded the bills carefully and placed them deep inside her pocket. For the first time that day, she felt something stronger than fear. She felt capable, not safe, not free, but capable. At the same time, Quan was reaching the end of another unsuccessful search. He had checked the gardens, the fields, and the roads where workers usually gathered. He had asked strangers. He had called Tieu Lac's name until his voice became rough. There was still no answer. Quan stopped beside the road and looked toward the distant hills. "Little Lac," he said quietly, "where did you go?" He thought again about her letter. She had asked him not to search. She had written as if leaving were necessary. But necessary for whom? Quan had spent the entire day assuming Tieu Lac had left because she was afraid of depending on him. Now, another possibility began to bother him: the timing. Tieu Lac had disappeared when he returned to the city for an urgent meeting. His father had called him back without warning. At the time, Quan had not questioned it. The meeting had seemed important, and his father had insisted that he attend. But while Quan was away, Tieu Lac left. Tieu replayed the sequence in his mind. The urgent call, his sudden absence, Tieu Lac's letter, her decision to disappear without speaking to him face to face. The events fit together too closely. He remembered his father's disapproval. He remembered the pressure to return to the life expected of him. He remembered conversations that had ended whenever Tieu Lac entered the room. A cold suspicion slowly replaced his exhaustion. What if Tieu Lac had not left only because of fear? What if someone had spoken to her while he was gone? What if she had been pressured, threatened, or convinced that leaving was the only way to protect him? Quan looked back toward the gardens he had searched. If he kept moving from field to field without understanding why she left, he might never find her. Tieu Lac would continue avoiding every place connected to him. She might already be planning to go farther away. Quan took out his phone and looked at his father's name. He did not call, not yet. A direct question would only give his father time to prepare an answer. Quan needed facts. He needed to know who had been at the farm while he was in the city. He needed to learn whether anyone had contacted Tieu Lac. He needed to understand why the meeting had been arranged so urgently. For the first time, his search had a new direction. That evening, Tieu Lac returned to the abandoned house with a little food and the first money she had earned. She placed the money beside her and spoke softly to the baby. Today was only the beginning. Her body was exhausted, but her decision felt clearer. She would work again tomorrow. She would save every coin. She would build a life where her child did not inherit the same fear and poverty she had known. Far away, Quan returned to the farm and found Milou waiting at the door. He placed food down for the dog and sat beside her. "Do you remember little Lac?" he asked. Milou watched him silently. Quan looked toward the empty road. "I'm going back to the city." His voice was calm now, not because the fear was gone, but because it had changed into determination. "I'll find out what happened while I was away. I'll find out why she left." He looked at the unopened shopping bag inside the house. "And when I know the truth, I'll find her and bring her back." The next morning, Tieu Lac would return to the fields. Quan would return to the city. One was fighting to build a future for her child. The other was preparing to uncover the past that had driven her away.